Hello everyone, I am Zainab, your physics educator at Study Room. So, today we are going to start with a new chapter of physics that is light. So, to give a brief introduction about light, light is something which enables us to see things around us, see things in the surroundings. So, let's begin with this interesting chapter. Now, what makes things visible? We clearly know the answer, that is light. Now, suppose if it's 9 p.m. at night and if there are no lights lit in our room, then will you be able to see any object? No, you have to lit the lights, you have to switch on the lights to make yourself unable to see the objects around you, to see your surroundings. Similarly, in the daytime, the sunlight, when there is sunlight, it enables us to see the things around us. So, our eyes alone cannot see any object. It is only when light from an object enters our eyes that we see the object. So, suppose if there is a bulb, to see the bulb, light is already emitted from the bulb. But if a box is kept nearby, then what happens in this case is that by this box, light is reflected. So the light may have been emitted by the object, which we saw in the case of bulb, or may have been reflected by it. Correct? Now, light is a form of energy, which includes the sensation of vision in our eyes. This is the basic definition of light, which is very easy. Light is a form of energy which includes the sensation of vision in our eyes and make us able to see various things present in our surroundings. It travels in straight line and can form shadows. So this is the property of light, that it always travels in straight line and it can form shadows. Easy enough to remember the two properties of light? Yes? So light always travels in straight lines. Okay? Now, reflection. A polished or a shiny surface can act as a mirror. So, any polished or shiny surface can act as a mirror. A mirror changes the direction of light that falls on it. After striking the mirror, the ray of light is reflected in another direction. So, suppose if this is the mirror, if a light ray falls on the mirror, it is reflected back by the mirror, right? You can see the dancer and its reflection falling on the mirror. Now, what is incident ray, reflected ray, and normal ray? Let's see this. The light ray which strikes any surface is called the incident ray. The ray that comes back from the surface after reflection is known as the reflected ray. As I said, if this is the mirror, then the light ray which is striking the surface, this is known as the incident ray, right? And the ray that is coming back from the surface after the process of reflection is known as the reflected ray. So these are very simple definitions of incident ray and reflected ray which need to be remembered. Okay. Now normal ray. An imaginary line which is perpendicular to the reflecting surface is known as the normal ray. The normal ray is incident at 90 degrees to the reflecting surface. So in this case, as we saw, this is the incident ray and the reflected ray. This is the reflecting surface. So the normal will always be at 90 degrees. Okay. Now let's have a look at this interesting activity. What do? You take a sheet of paper and put it on a table. Now you take a comb and cover all its openings except the middle one. You can even use a black paper for it. Now you keep the comb perpendicular to the white sheet. Now take a torch and you throw light from the torch to the opening of the comb on one side. Now with slight adjustment of torch and comb, you will see a ray of light along the paper. Now keep the comb and torch steady. You have to take care to keep the comb and torch steady. Now place a strip of plain mirror in the path of the light. What you will observe is that first observation will be it is seen that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Now, what does this mean? Is that you can see this diagram, right? So, here we see that this is the incident ray and this is the reflected ray. So, the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection with respect to the normal are equal. You will observe this. Angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Also, you will observe that the incident ray, the normal, and at the point of incident, also you will observe that the incident ray, the normal, at the point of incidence, and the reflected ray are all in this plane. Right? So let's see here. We see here that the incident ray, the normal, and the reflected ray, they all lie in this plane. Correct? So, these two observations are known as laws of reflection, which are very important to remember. Okay, so let's see once again. It is seen that the angle of incidence is always equal to the angle of reflection. The incident ray, the normal at the point of incident, and the reflected ray are all in this plane. Okay, so these are the laws of reflection. So this was all for this video. We saw in this video what is light. It enables us to see the surroundings. And we also learned about incident ray, the normal, and the reflected ray. We also saw an activity which proved us the laws of reflection. Correct? So I'll see you next time on Study Room. Till then, thank you.